Tash Dile everyone, I'm Sakina Butt and welcome to Tibet This Week, a weekly feature in English that tells you about this week's news on Tibet, His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Central Tibetan Administration. Let's look at the headlines first. Unity of three provinces of Tibet is most important, His Holiness the Dalai Lama in Balakopi. His Holiness the Dalai Lama speaks on education for wisdom and compassion in Bengaluru. Bodh Gaya gears up for His Holiness the Dalai Lama's visit and teachings. Combine modern education with spiritual knowledge. CTA President tells monks at inauguration of IGNOU Study Center at Sera Monastery. CTA President expresses concern over latest case of self-immolation in Tibet. CTA President and Speaker of Tibetan Parliament in Exile congratulates Sri Jairam Thakur, new Chief Minister Designate of Himachal Pradesh. While addressing the new arrivals from Tibet and a group of Tibetan teachers who gathered for secular ethics workshop held at Sera University, Balakopi, His Holiness the Dalai Lama said that all the three provinces in Tibet should stay united, Tibetans should stand together in solidarity and work toward preserving the Tibetan language. CTA President Dr. Lobsang Singye, who was also present, emphasized that the middle way approach is the best approach to have a win-win solution and expressed hope for positive changes to take place within China. On Sunday this week, His Holiness the Dalai Lama gave a Silver Jubilee lecture on education for wisdom and compassion to rebuild nation at Tripura Vasini Palace ground in Bengaluru. Addressing a packed crowd, His Holiness briefly spoke about his four main commitments of promoting human values, promoting religious harmony, preserving Tibet's Buddhist culture, and revival of ancient Indian knowledge. He further talked about Tibetan language being the richest in preserving the Nalanda tradition of India and Tibet's ecology, which holds great importance with regard to ecology of neighboring countries and Asia as whole.
This ancient Indian knowledge is not only ancient one, but also very relevant to today's world.
He recalled the times he had memorized Buddhist root text when he was 8 years old and how he has kept on studying it with great rigor. His Holiness also spoke of his relations with former Indian Prime Minister Pandit Nehru, the practical advice and support he offered, and praised the then Chief Minister of Karnataka, Siddhavanahalli Nijalinkappa, for his support in having majority of Tibetan settlements in South Indian state of Karnataka. On Tuesday this week, His Holiness gave a talk on relevance of universal ethics for modern age at Tumkur University in Bangalore. His Holiness spoke about the relevance of ancient Indian knowledge in modern times and on human intelligence and his ability to identify destructive and constructive emotions.
How to introduce in education field the ancient Indian knowledge about emotion, how to tackle emotion.
His Holiness the Dalai Lama will give a series of teachings at the holy Buddhist town of Bodh Gaya in the month of January 2018. His Holiness will arrive at Bodh Gaya on 2nd January and will confer a 3-day teaching on Dharma Chakra, Parivartan Sutra and the Four Noble Truths and Sutra on Dependent Origination from 5th to 7th January 2018. From 14 to 16 January, His Holiness the Dalai Lama will give teachings on Nagarjuna's commentary on Bodhicitta and Gyaltse Thongme Sangpo's 37 practices of Bodhisattva. His Holiness will also confer the Avalokiteshvara initiation on 15th and 16th January 2018. On 25th January 2018, His Holiness will consecrate the newly built Thai monastery in Bodh Gaya. On Wednesday last week, the President of Central Tibetan Administration, Dr. Lobsang Singye, spoke about the importance of combining modern education with the rich spiritual knowledge of ancient India for acquiring holistic education at the inaugural ceremony of IGNOU Center at Sarajay Monastery. Dr. Singye said, "We Tibetans have immersed ourselves in the rich spiritual knowledge of ancient India. Now it's time to combine modern education with spiritual knowledge to let Buddhist philosophies flourish throughout the world." On Wednesday this week, the Central Tibetan Administration held a prayer service for Gyönpe, who died after burning himself in protest against the Chinese government on 23rd December in Miruma, Ngaba County in northeastern Tibet. Dr. Singye expressed his profound sadness at the self-immolation and reiterated the Kashak's growing concern at the deteriorating political and human rights situation inside Tibet. The self-immolator is identified as 30-year-old Gyönpe from Chugle Gongma Pastoral Community in Cha Village, Ngaba County. He was brought to the hospital around 10 p.m., but by 5 a.m. in the morning of the 24th, Gyönpe had passed away. His family members were called to Barkham by the Chinese government to collect his remains. Gyönpe is from the Chugle Gongma Pastoral Community in Cha Village, Ngaba County. Expressing deep concern at the self-immolation, Dr. Singye said, "Despite repeated appeals from the Central Tibetan Administration, at least 151 Tibetans have set themselves on fire inside Tibet since 2009. The Chinese government should realize that the cause as well as the solution to this wave of fiery protest lie in the Chinese government itself." President of Central Tibetan Administration Dr. Lobsang Singye and the Speaker of Tibetan Parliament congratulated Sri Jairam Thakur, the new Chief Minister designate of Himachal Pradesh. Dr. Singye said, "As the host of both His Holiness the Dalai Lama and the Central Tibetan Administration, Himachal Pradesh is extremely important for Tibetans across the world. The Tibetan people and the people of Himachal Pradesh share a close bond of friendship based on love and harmony. I am hopeful that under your visionary leadership, this bond will be strengthened even further." The Tibetan parliamentary speaker expressed his gratitude to the people and the government of India for the unwavering support throughout the time. Sri Jairam Thakur, a 5-time MLA from Siraj in Mandi district, has been selected as the new Chief Minister of Himachal Pradesh. So much for this week. See you next time. Have a great weekend.